Hello and welcome, happy cosmic star travelers. I wanted to do a video for a change. Welcome aboard the Starlight Express, which is basically the name of my light ship. And as you're entering my page and my material, you're basically entering that consciousness. So welcome on board, and we are making it fun. That's another reason why I'm introducing the video like this. So I just wanted to give an overview for the people, especially that took part in the activations over the last 2 days, instead of writing a post, because I just get a lot more of information in this way. Also, it's really nice to be transmitting through sound and light. So it's, let's say, another dimension to the transmission, because all of what we write and share is really encoded, especially the more conscious we are of that, because as I wrote the other day, everything is spells. Everything we say, everything we write, everything we comment on. So yeah, so I wanted to do a little summary, and also because just as a background to the activations, as I have written in the event description and also in the posts talking about the activation, that it's basically collective activations that we bring in. So I get basically the guidance from source to sometimes very last minute to make these activations available. I do everything really via donation. That's most of the work I do to make it available for everyone. But it really only works if then the people who can make a donation and do find this valuable actually do make one. So I just wanted to say that again, because that's really what I do and what I provide. And I know it is very powerful. And of course, people have different experiences. But what we achieved was really mind-blowing. And again, we bring this in for everyone. So it's available now in the field. And so it's available for everyone right now, especially within the time frame that I've outlined. So until 10 p.m. UK time on the 10th of November. And if you want to know your own time zone, just do an internet search, 10 p.m. UK time in wherever you live. But I mean, it's available now in the field for everyone, because we anchor it. The more we are, the more powerful this does get. We also add our own codes and keys. And as starseeds, we do have special keys and codes for the ascension. And we're also connected to different tribes of humanity, so different soul groups and the people around us that we're all affecting through the work we do, you know, all of what we do here, in order to heal and rehabilitate our templates. And that's another thing I just wanted to say. Whenever you take part in any kind of energy healing activation type work, do read the instructions very carefully. Make sure it's right for you at the time, because you're giving your energy body to another person. And you need to trust that person with your energy body, because a lot of the damage that has happened here, it happens through those layers that we do not see and that are affecting us, as most of us know. But you know, we're not quite aware of it maybe to the extent that we should be, because there's a lot of messing that has happened on these spiritual body layers, levels and layers. And that has happened especially through things like activations, mass meditations, you know, different kind of things. So please do be aware and do read the instructions carefully, and don't just, yes, 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 I do it. And you're not really knowing, you know, you don't read what you're signing, because you're literally signing your body to another person in a sense, or that they, you know, do whatever you want with me kind of thing. So just be mindful of that, because a lot of damage has happened like that, through that, to our light bodies, which my work is trying to correct, which it is correcting. So again, the people that have missed the live activations, which when they are the most powerful, you can still tune in. Just it really works in no quantum time. So in no time, quantum time, it's in the field now available, okay? And ultimately our higher selves, our teams and God Source are in charge. So choose an hour when you have time to relax, lie down, meditate, listen to some nice music, open up to receive, make an intention, maybe also what you like personally assistance with, and just relax into it and see what happens. And people have different awarenesses and experiences of this. You can have deep clearings, you can have huge expansion. I mean, after the first one, I had, well, first of all, very expanded, very kind of high feeling, very aware, very clear, loads of downloads coming in. The next day I was going through a lot of clearing. Then I did the second activation. You can read about it on my page if you want to know the reasons why. Funny things happened with Facebook. That's all I'm going to say. And basically after the second activation, wow, super expanded. And this morning as well, super expanded, loads coming in. Something came up in my reality. Loads of time shifts have happened, especially since the first activation. They keep happening, like very big ones. And they will continue to do so. So something like that happened in my reality this morning and then triggered a few things, transmuted them relatively quickly. And I could just see the new sovereignty that's coming online is really a invincibility that is heart-centered, where it's like everything touches us, but nothing rocks us. You know, nothing is going to get us off kilter. Like that's a new embodiment that's now available. And what I share is I'm a forerunner, so I get these things first as some others, and then, you know, I make them from my work available for other people. I also always work with the planetary level, cosmic level, really, the stargates and so forth. But what I do for everyone, like in the work that I do, you know, offline, like so many of us. But I also share because it has a purpose of also, you know, me sharing and being open about what I see. You know, it activates people, carries keys and codes, but it also is there to encourage other people to do the same. You know, to trust in what we get and what we believe in, because this is really key. The confidence in what we see, our gifts and abilities, and using them in whichever way that may come about. Not everybody needs to be a healer or does this, you know, so to say, professionally. There are many ways people express their gifts, whether it be through art or just by looking after other people. You know, being a mother is a very sacred job, looking after the new star children. So, I mean, all of these things, you know, it's not about one thing being the mission. We have many purposes, and the main purpose is always our own work. That's why self-care does come first, especially when it's so intense, like it's lately been. It's just kind of on the increase. And so giving from a full cup instead of resentment, no more, you know, trying to rescue and fix everyone, but really filling up our own cup first. Loads going on with the body, loads of transmutation, and we really need to support it as good as we can. So to look after that, and then from the overflowing cup, we can give and support, assist others if they want to. And in a way that serves both, yeah, that we don't overgive. We need to bring these balances in, no overgiving, no overtaking, trying to even out the scales as best as we can, and being the change we want to see in the world. So that's really important. So that's the main mission we all share. And then whatever else comes from that, you know, whatever that may be, it's who we are being, not what we are doing, that really is the change, and walking in integrity. And that's alignment, really, when what we believe in, what we think, feel, say, do, that all added up, aligned, but there's no more conflict between any of those thoughts, all of our aspects. That's the integration we're after, because it's really all about multidimensional integration, which is what these activations were heavily focused upon. And what I saw is that basically a multidimensional portal opened, having let in so many galactics and angelic beings helping us now, and really since last night, since where are we? Monday night, the second activation, after the second activation, really just, I just saw them all beaming huge white light onto the planet. And again, these are just the way I've been shown what's happening. That's my representation of it, that my consciousness makes sense of what's happening. Some people just might perceive light. Maybe they see it in a different way. Everybody has a different perspective, insights. I just share what I see, take what resonates, leave the rest. It's my version of reality, and that constantly expands. The same as truth, you know. There are certain core truths, but generally we always get a higher perspective, more awareness, deeper truths, because that's like consciousness is forever expanding, really. And it's, you know, otherwise it would get quite boring if we knew everything. So it's a lot of freedom not knowing everything. So what I wanted to say is I'm just going to go through a list. I made some notes in case I'm going to miss anything. So I'm going to look at my notes to see just the list of what I saw yesterday happening. So I made, and again, this is for everyone. Now, what I saw was also yesterday, so the second activation was, we were in the middle, those participants, then the ones from the day before, and the first activation were in a circle formatting around us. So they were also getting it, just kind of a little bit less, because they're still also in the field. The field is still open unless you want to disconnect, which you can do just by intent. And then afterwards was the rest of humanity that has chosen this at soul level, because a lot of this really, you know, I always send out to every willing soul and heart, all in alignment with divine and free will, because we are acting on behalf of the one as the one. That's how I work, and that's what I've been shown we are here to do. This is not imposing on anything. Again, it's in alignment with free will. So on soul level, people are picking up on this, and it's available in the field. And all of these energies and frequencies that we are in, activations we are receiving, you know, we just have different levels of awareness and different levels of intensity or quantity also of the frequency we can hold and process and data, depending on, you know, how much of the bad data has been deleted so far. So everybody is affected though. This doesn't, you know, surpass anyone. So these, again, that's why I'm sharing with everyone. These activations are available to everyone and will affect everyone, whether you're conscious of it or not. And because it's just bringing in more light, bringing in more frequency. Every time we are shifting timelines, every time we are raising the frequency of our own consciousness and that of the planet. So each time we make a difference. That's why I love doing this work. It's what I do anyway, all the time. I spend several hours a day, 24/7, really doing this stuff, and a lot of it obviously off the internet, and, you know, like many who never speak about what they do. So I want to thank you so much for your work and dedication and not having given up, because this takes a lot of perseverance. This is not for the faint of heart, it's for brave hearts. And I want to thank you and salute you for being here now and still standing and trying your best in just doing it. And what I said to someone yesterday is like, she's saying, I'm trying really hard to make it to the activation. And I said to her, try less hard, just relax more. Because if I ever could give myself any kind of advice from a few years back when this all started, would be take it easy, stop trying so hard, just relax. And I'm still giving myself that advice because I'm quite focused on this work to make this ascension happen and doing my part of it. So, but, you know, whenever we try something really hard, it has the opposite effect. It's an energetic reaction. It's like you're pushing it away. So try less hard and see what happens. Be happy and be content with what you're doing each day. Focus on the good things. We really need to flip this all around, all this programming that keeps telling us we're not enough, which was a big part of this activation. Now, we had a huge M-class solar flare. I don't know, around 1700 UTC. There's questions around time and some of the data. And we also had huge Schumann resonance spikes, and they carried a lot of data and downloads. It's what my consciousness perceived. So I was just in bed clenching my head most of the time because there was just a huge migraine coming up. But I did my things. Salt baths really help. Water with lemon. I like the little sort of things. I can't remember. It's like some Japanese salts. They're kind of mental-like. That really helps to free up the airwaves because there's just a lot of cranial expansions going on. There's also interference. Definitely has picked up since Friday. And this is because also of these activations that are coming in. They're trying to mess with that also in a run up to the 11 gateway, which definitely is super extra potent. And there's a lot of focus. And obviously we had to really, I mean, what has happened last night? Wow. And it keeps happening. I mean, it's just so much layered, so much on top. I could write and talk about this all day, but I try not to, because obviously people have a very short attention span these days. Understandably so, because a lot is being deleted and downloaded. So our brains go a bit offline. Halfway through a sentence at times, I can forget what I'm talking about, things like that. So anyway, so a lot of data, a lot of downloads came in. I could literally see it coming in and I could feel it coming in. So there's going to be a lot unlocked now over the next few days. A lot of remembering, a lot of clarity coming through. Wow. I mean, so clear, so alert, awake. And this all really reminds me, these energies of really when I had my first awakening, kind of walk-in experience of my higher identity. And in 2011, now it's a lot more grounded because I know what's going on and I have a lot of tools. And obviously this is all about, now really fulfilling that 10-year cycle of multidimensional merging. And I can really, I mean, it's beautiful just to witness that. And it's happening for all of us, just to different extents, different levels of awareness, but it's really beautiful merging for our multidimensional self. And if I can give one tip, it's really say it from your heart. How do you do these things? It's really, it's a frequency most of all. Besides techniques and guided meditations, activations, and so forth, call in your multidimensional self. Call all of yourself back to you. I call back my multidimensional self, my higher self, my avatar, my rishi, my God source consciousness, oversoul, all of me back to me, all of these different levels and identities. And you don't even need to know all the details. Let your higher self take over. Okay, of course, educate yourself. All right, but don't get stuck in the details. This is more about a frequency, because words are so limiting. Really 3D. We try our best, but ultimately this is about beyond language. And it's about the frequency of your intent, believing that you can, and working with your DNA, singing to it, singing bowls, listen to light language, the ones that resonate. And I mean, go out in the sunshine, talk to your DNA, activate it, talk to your whole body, what you want to have, and really have a close relationship with your body, because a lot of what is coming in now, these are healing energies from source, able to heal all, but we need to be believing and open to it, because all what disease comes back to is a sick mind, in my belief. And there's even science that supports that theory. So ultimately, you can't catch anything from anyone. It's really any disease or illness comes back to an emotional, mental imbalance. And we can solve that by going to the root of why an imbalance and block has manifested in your body in the first place. Because we look at it sometimes from the wrong way around. And what we really need to correct is the consciousness behind it, what has caused the dis-ease in the body. So I have also, in my own experience, about 2 weeks ago, had really bad back pain, and a lot of praying, yoga. I did get a massage because I could literally not sit straight, and a lot of my own healing energy work, but mainly just surrendering it to God. A lot of this is right now surrendering to God's source, however you connect with that, and do it from the heart. A heartfelt prayer, the same with working with your energy body, doing this from the heart instead of reciting something is worth so much more. It's so much more powerful, set from the right frequency, than anything that we recite. So carry on. A big message today was and is: nothing is as it seems. nothing is as it seems. And I obviously can't say that, but I hope the message across. So what that means is that we need to see past the illusions, through the illusions, in order to dissolve them. So if something happens in your life and it seems one way, but you know, no, it's actually not the way it seems, just go with your knowing, because this is all about your inner navigation system, knowing beyond the obvious, knowing beyond the logic, seeing beyond the false matrix overlay that is now being dissolved at super quantum speed. So I'm super excited. The great convergence is truly underway, huge multidimensional merge. So huge number of light beings coming in, helping clear the planet, huge cleanup underway, huge support. This is also really in connection with our DNA activation, multidimensional DNA activation, because these beings are not outside of us, they are us, they are our higher aspects. And as we activate our multidimensional DNA, they're able to come in. Well, there's a lot more to that, obviously. There are many layers and levels to this, also connected to stargates and portals. But this is a huge part right now. So the Lightbody activations, DNA activations are massive. And that is allowing these higher beings also to come online, come in and join us down here. And this is also connected to the frequency net going down. But first, so what I could see in the activation yesterday, one of the most strong visuals was rainbow light coming through. Like, you know, you have a central column that will go through your crown, you know, and then all the way through down through your root down to the Earth chakra. And you know, we can also, the column of light that I often work with, it's basically then later on widening it out so that you have a constant 12D type white shield all around you, like a column of light. It just keeps your field clear and sovereign. And anyway, I saw this in a way, just kind of a very small, not small, but not a full-on white, but a rainbow ray, but multicolored. So not just the 7 colors, really multicolored, 12 colors, 12D colors. Which is really a down step of the higher 144 full supermonic DNA divine template that we are recorrecting it, we're reactivating. But the 12 is the base level. So the 12 strands of DNA activation is the base level we are activating, but that's then also depending on what your blueprint is. You might have 24 or 48 strands of DNA. So this is all coming online at the moment, also with the 15D chakra system. So, and it's really beyond this even, but this is kind of the basic that is being rehabilitated and recorrected. So recorrections to the light body, to the Kundalini, and this is not about activating the Kundalini as such. This is way beyond that. It's really the Kundalini ray. It's a multidimensional ray that we anchored that really also comes down from the aurora, from the Andromedan galaxy, and anchors the multidimensional frequency beyond 12D through our body into the core of the earth and then out into the grids. So I really saw rainbow, like multicolored rainbow rounds being run throughout the planet. So really 12D frequencies, but again, this is really stepped down from even beyond that and all the way from source, because that's really what we're rehabilitating at the moment. There's a lot of the reconnection to source. So what I could see, it was really the return of the diamond sun plasma body and the return of the liquid crystal light. So a lot of golden white light washing through our bodies, washing through the earth, purifying everything, upgrading, re-encrypting, just really beautiful. Like really what I can see is, and what I'm feeling myself, is the return of the divine solar feminine. We are fully rebirthing and rising again in our full brilliance and light. And might feel a little bit achy still, but you know, we're getting there. And however long it takes, right? because this is in no time. But it's really releasing a lot of these lunar chains, old distorted feminine imprints. And this is also even in the way for the masculine now to come forth. And I really feel it's 11-11 gateway is also a big tower moment for the masculine. Now this is the masculine within us all. So anyone, anything still trying to control, a lot of the ego I feel is really going to fall away, because this is the oneness. Like I'm really feeling this is a big oneness portal right now that's open. And many of us might feel that the whole separation, any remaining resentment, unforgiveness being released, which was also a big focus of the activation last night. So, so the remaining illusions of the mind are breaking at the seams for sure. And this is really what the net or the false matrix overlay is all consisting of. This is has already been, like the split has already happened. What I'm seeing of the old matrix, this is already done with. But what we still see is the basically frequency net having still a holographic insert is still there, also because it's still connected and run by the mind programming, by the mind control programming. So this was a huge focus yesterday of the activation. Like most of the first half was all around clearing mind control programming, because this also is the dissolution of the frequency net. Not just, again, there's more to that, but the big part, because the false matrix grid, which is the frequency net I'm talking about, is basically a holographic insert, and it holds on a frequency of the planet. And some of us have broken through it. Yes, we're not kind of affected by it anymore because we have more DNA activated. And it's also basically holding the DNA locked of the mass population. So that's why this is so important. It's also very much connected to the mother arc, stepping over the frequency net. But this is even beyond it, because the best thing, before I forget that later on to say, at the end of everything yesterday, the second activation, it was really like, it's not real. It doesn't even exist. Because yes, I'm working with those levels of the consciousness, because we have an agreed upon sense of reality, version of reality that I work with in order to get to the point where all can be fully, totally dissolved. And many levels have already, but obviously we're working on this coming now down to the physical, and there are always many layers to it, and there's always something more to be done, obviously, always expansion. But it's really come to this huge point where I can feel with all this, I mean, just see the shift in your consciousness from like last Monday, from the 1st of November until now. Huge. I'd say there's been a huge shift, this, because it's literally dissolved. The old matrix is no more. But now the thoughts have to come down with it, all these old, because we keep expecting it. But we are merging into the one mind through the oneness, through remembering our true nature again. And it's all interconnected, really, through our own embodiment. And this breaks through the mind control programming, which is based on separation and fear. It's really a fear-based matrix. And the remaining fears and all these negative mind programs are being deleted and replaced by God source consciousness. The different group minds become the one mind, and it's one consciousness, always has been. And that's the whole thing. Ultimately, everything is always happening for us, even though it seems different from this perspective. But from a higher perspective, you can see anything that has ever happened to you exactly had to happen for you to learn what you came here to learn. So we're not might enjoy it because it's been a lot of suffering, but in order to get to the learning through more joyful experiences, you need to transcend the suffering first. And it's really a question of the perspective of the mind, because it's all skewed down here. It's all reversed, the reversals. It's really a reverse consciousness. It's really the sickness of the mind that we're dealing with here. Because that's why, again, everything comes back to illness also. Any kind of illness comes back to the sickness of the mind, and only a sick mind creates this diabolical version of reality. So, I mean, we're all part of that one mind, and we all have access to the one mind that has created all, but you have to dissolve into the one mind. So you have to really die a million deaths and transcend that ego, which doesn't mean you lose or kill the ego. It's integrating it. It's all about integration, all of these different pieces, and everything helps us do that, especially the difficult people and experiences in our lives. So there can't really be a conspiracy as such, because everything is conspiring ultimately for you. That's the biggest conspiracy. Then, so it was overall very mind-focused, especially at the beginning, especially focused on false memories and holographic inserts as well, delete. Also the limited programming around luck, self-doubt, lack of confidence, big focus, distorted thoughts, beliefs, dogmas, superstitions, things that make us feel that others are weird or different, becoming more tolerant of each other. So that would be nice, wouldn't it? So we can all get on and not argue so much anymore and be divided and stand together to rise. Releasing of anger, resentments, and which is enabling now big forgiveness, which is setting us all free. And I mean, we've been through many rounds, but the remaining whatever is still there. That's really it. And at this point, I also want to say, stop focusing so much on what other people are doing, okay, that are not as conscious, let's say, as we are. It's our responsibility and accountability then to be the bigger person and to be the more conscious one, and take full responsibility and accountability for all of our reactions and actions, and basically keep focusing on, you know, what you are doing, not what they are doing. So everybody else is just showing you what still needs to be more of. So especially with judgments and resentments and anything that triggers you, it's always helping you with polarity integration. And this is really what all of this is about. In order to merge with the oneness, with the one, you have to integrate all these pieces, not just some, all of it. All of it. Doesn't mean you become it. It means that you understand that consciousness and you purify it through you. So you merge with everything, but then you purify and release all that which is not of use. So that's the transmutation. And quite frankly, we are the exorcists, and we all here have problems with attachments and all of that stuff, which was also, you know, another big focus of this, which I'm going to come to now. And I can talk about the whole attachment story another time of what I really believe it is. It's ultimately, these are negative thought forms become manifest. So again, everything comes back to the thoughts. You need to correct the consciousness to correct the reality. Different thoughts will create different realities. That's why this is a shift in consciousness that shifts the realities for us. This is why this is all coming back to this. And this is why this has been so heavily targeted, because you can't manipulate the heart like that. I mean, it's been targeted in different ways by causing us much heartbreak and pain and suffering. But ultimately, who controls the mind, controls the body, controls the soul. So that's how they, you know, mess with people. And they, yes, on a higher level, it's all one. But we do have to, it's part of the polarity integration and multidimensional merge, integrate all multidimensional perspectives. So again, it's not about you taking on a perspective of a psychopath, but it's understanding, why is a psychopath the way they are? Why are the Illuminati the way they are? They have been tortured from the word get-go. It's like either you become a torturer or you end up basically dead. Very few souls which have been placed there on purpose to purify those bloodlines also have made it through with their soul still intact. Usually you would end up with multiple personality disorder and other big problems, obviously. So, you know, when do we lose our innocence? So can we understand that? Can we have compassion and understanding? Doesn't mean that we need to, you know, let them keep doing the crazy stuff they're doing, because the torture stops here, because they are torturing themselves and they torture everyone else with them. And we are not allowing this anymore. So we are reclaiming our full remembering, memories and origin, who we are, who we were, why we are here, our mission and purpose. And we're claiming our full inheritance now and freedom by becoming sovereign again. And this is what happened as well. So what I can see is that the NAA will now be exposed and also quarantined full release of the NAA and NAA's negative alien agenda. For those that don't know, it's so negative aliens that have come here to enslave humanity. And it was a full release of their karmic load that we have been carrying. So we have been carrying a lot of that stuff that they keep creating, and we could go on like this forever, but I think it's been long enough now. So we have given them back their karmic load. There was a divide between that. So there is no more mashup. And this is also connected to the purification of the DNA and the reversals and hybrid codings in there that were also purified. So again, this doesn't all happen just to explain. When I say all of these things, because this is a long list, what I'm here explaining, what was in the event description, I'm very aware of them, okay? I'm following guidance in what I'm being taught. And which is my own higher levels in God's source, okay? If I channel anything, it's God. So basically, what was I saying? The karmic load star seeds have been carrying. I forgot now what I was talking about. Now I need to move on. So as I said, this happens a lot. So there was a full disconnect of the karmic load that the star seeds have been carrying on behalf of them because of the whole hybridization of our DNA and mutations. And these have been cleared. Yeah, what I wanted to say. So these activations, it is a high list. I noticed loads of stuff, but these are highly packed, dense data packages that come in. I also leave the field open for up to 48 hours later. This time it's longer because it was 2 activations, because it still integrates and a lot is happening. I'm still in the field also doing things. There's a lot to this, okay, what I'm facilitating and holding and transmitting. So although, you know, I mean, I'm really just a vessel, like I'm literally an instrument. So to make this happen, and we're all, you know, our higher selves are making this happen too. It's not just me. It's like, you know, I'm just kind of anchoring. I'm able to hold and anchor more frequency than most people. Just that's what my template does. So, and then it's easier for the other people to pick this up. And certain keys and codes that I carry that will activate in you and that are important for the ascension. So basically these activations happen in a short amount of time, but even beyond those 48 hours, and especially beyond that 1 hour, there's a lot that happens and unfolds. And because it's in no time, it's quantum time. So it keeps unlocking. It's how I see light language working. It leaves like little time capsules in your field, and then they unlock the right time and the right frequency. That's why everybody has a different experience. Like my mother takes part in these activations. She doesn't even read the description. I stopped asking her and she just gets out of it, whatever. And she has a little bit of awareness here and there, something then that might come up. But she's just mainly unaware and unconscious. So, but everybody will get out of it whatever they need, you know, so it's really very intelligent frequencies and energies that work on an individual level, because again, it's our higher self, each one of you and your teams mainly in charge. Yeah. So the artificial matrix net fully dissolving with much cosmic help. As I said, it's basically very, very weak. We can already see it. I mean, the dam of the truth tsunami has broken, definitely. And huge crystal core and crystal network activations assist in reprogramming. So I mentioned this in another post. Basically, there are many crystals in the earth, old crystal technology, you know, crystal beds. Then you also have a crystal core that I work with a lot. And you obviously have the crystalline grids. And we also hold crystals within our bodies, especially, again, our heart, because our heart I see as Earth's heart. It's really connected. It's sort of the same. Our heart and her heart is a crystal core. So, so our crystal heart is hugely important for the ascension, our stargate to the higher dimensions and the multiverse, quite frankly, which is a lot of what my activations have been about. And again, it's also in the field, and not really my activations either, but there also are. Anyway, so we also have in our blood a lot of crystals, the bones, fascia, and skin. And this is all activating, and this is really where a lot of the data is held. If you know crystals, crystals activate, they hold data, they transmit, and this is what we have inside. We are turning from carbon to crystalline. Our carbon atoms are turning crystalline, another focus of the activation. I'm very crystalline myself. It's always a big focus of my activations, and many people can pick up on this. So they feel a lot of crystallization happening as the activations happen. And this is really a lot of the key, because we want to become crystalline, we want to change to that lighter liquid light form. And they also store the data. So another huge focus was the cellular clearing of the old trauma and data. So huge cellular and subatomic, atomic and subatomic clearing of the old trauma, because beyond the trauma, underneath the trauma that's held in our cells, is wisdom, is our true history. So the same in the crystal network of the earth, you have a lot of the true, like you have the true history of humanity stored, but it hasn't been available, and there has been a lot of messing with the crystalline grid and the stargates and some of the crystal technology. So that's all being cleared, and there's a huge clearing and takeover and healing happening right now. I mean, it has been for a long time, but that's the thing, the convergence also for the timelines, all of what we've been writing about for so many years, it's all coming together, it's all converging in this now, past, present, and future. We're going back to the future, literally. Because we're changing the time-space coordinate by changing the consciousness, because the way we look at reality is all skewed. That's why reality is skewed. And the way we look at it, it's all programmed. It's all AI programs. So you either run by AI programs or you run by God consciousness. And that's what we're hooking back up to. And a pure mind creates pure reality. So again, it all comes back to the programs and the way we think and the way we perceive reality, because the observer effect is teaching us that when we change the way we look at things, the way we look at change, because two people can have the same experience, look at the same thing and have a totally different perspective of that experience, one good, one bad, for example, because it's very much down to your perception, your belief systems. Your belief systems tell you what you see until you can transcend and question them. Like, why do you believe what you believe? Is it serving you? Most of the time, it will be because someone else told you this is the way it is. Question everything. Most of what you believe in, what you think, the way things are, goes right off the window right now. And people who are not too stuck on any kind of way of the way they perceive the world to be are faring the best right now, because a lot of that has just been changed the way, you know, because there's been bad data. We had access to bad data. It's like any computer, bad data in, bad data out. That's bad realities. So now good data comes in, and a lot of it is to do with the crystalline activations within ourselves and the planet. And that's what the last few activations have been focusing on, and this is about. Now, huge heart healing and expansions. Sometimes they can be physically painful. I remember when I first started, I thought I had a heart attack. Well, I didn't think, I knew it wasn't, but it felt like one. And it went on for almost 2 days, really intense. That was many years ago. So then yesterday, after the activation ended, the second one, I spent some more time working in the field. And then I was shown, and also what felt like knives taken out of my back. Because a lot of light workers have a lot to clear on the back of their upper back, middle back, and basically the back of your heart, because of a lot of betrayal from other lifetimes. And that would also be my core wound, which I was shown and had to go a little bit deeper with. And I could literally feel the knives being taken out. And again, this is more symbolic, the way I understand everything. It's more abstract and symbolic, because that's just the way the consciousness understands it, instead of taking everything so literal. So the stabs in the back, you know, as we know, so the knives being taken out and then the wounds being healed. And it was then basically being taken a little bit further down, and what was really behind it. And it was, my wound wouldn't be so much about, you know, the Illuminati and all the bad aliens having done all the horrible things. I kind of get that consciousness. What I didn't get, or what was my main pain wound, was my own family, those closest to me, betraying me. Several lifetimes, obviously, and being rejected, not seen, not heard, you know, laughed at, even demonized. I had enough people, you know, kind of demonizing me throughout my life. And that's what a lot of people like us do experience, because we trigger a lot of other people's shadows. So if they're not able to really self-reflect, they project them onto us. So, and then we, when we were still not quite clued in, would pick this up and take this on, and then we question ourselves to certain degrees. On not really, but we're like kind of, you know, sort of what's going on here, and it kind of feels painful, where once you really are understanding the higher perspective, is whatever another person is doing has nothing to do with you really, unless it triggers you. Then there's something for you to sort out. But otherwise, it's really whatever's going on with that person. And only a hurt person hurts people, you know. Only a sick mind that is tortures other people. So we have to understand these, because that understanding creates healing and forgiveness, and that resolves all of this, because we need to get out of these, you know, I hurt you, you hurt me, and it goes on forever. War doesn't solve any of this. So the One True Organic Ascension timeline is fully online, and everything is being aligned with it now. So I like the other timelines have got nothing. Like as we said to a friend today, like she said to me, yeah, the interference, I've noticed it as well, but it's not working very well. And that's basically the thing. So they're trying certain things, but it's backfiring so spectacularly and can't really get to many of us, because we've done the job and it's just that time now. This is all towers falling, big time, burning. And it has been already a long time. And I believe the way why we haven't seen anything yet is that the disclosure we're after is kind of what has already happened. And under the normal circumstances, that's what you get, is that it doesn't get anywhere. No, not really. But what's really happening is all invisible. So we're just looking at a smoke screen. There's so much is already changed behind. So all we have to do now is let go and see through the illusions. Nothing is as it seems. Break, dissolve it by knowing it for what it is. That's your job now. Dissolve, dissolve, dissolve. Delete the program. Because this is a very momentous time. So don't miss this, all right? Be a part, make it count. So what else? So the rainbow rounds, the Kundalini, really beautiful, really stabilizing the grid system. That's also the tri-wave, okay? And this is really also connected to polarity integration, because when we can hold the polarities and integrate them all without a friction, without any more conflict within our consciousness, that's the tri-wave, that's the 0 point, and that's the new grid system current. Because the system as it was until now is a bi-wave system, and it basically it's the polarity, but with the friction, it's a distorted sense of polarity, because polarity will always be there. Once one thing is created, the other thing is created. So that's the basis of polarity. But the thing is, it's been distorted, and it's that we have conflicts between the polarities. You know, when we are like in conflict with another person and we have one viewpoint, the other person has another viewpoint. Well, that's what's helping us with polarity integration. So see all of this like an opportunity to integrate another aspect of you to come to divine union within, which is integrating all of our multidimensional aspects, so all perspectives. And that happens by you understanding where the other person is coming from and not having to defend your truth. You stand just calmly in your truth. But sometimes, you know, again, there are variations. We're not just, this is not about the perfection that some people have in mind, okay? This is about balancing all of you. Multidimensionality for me is, in one moment, I might need to, you know, speak my truth and be a little bit louder. The next one, I'm very gentle. And it's like, you know, speak your truth, even if your voice is shaking, but then sometimes silence speaks louder than words. It depends. So it's all these aspects. So, but there's a different aspect that comes forth in every moment. And we are then fully integrated in the 0 point when we no longer, you know, having this friction of something that's not, you know, based on our belief system comes in. It's just like, oh, okay. And if there's anything triggering, it's now very simple really to integrate that, to just see, okay, where's their remaining judgment? What is being triggered there? Take it back within and see, because whenever we judge something or someone, it's really a part of us that we are not acknowledging and haven't integrated yet. So there's something more for us to get and integrate. So all of these experiences, which might be very annoying, maybe even painful, are ultimately there to help us integrate all of these pieces and come to divine union within, okay? And then there's no more friction between the polarities. That's the idea. And that's the 0 point. That's where you flow. That's the sweet spot. And that's also where we integrate a multidimensional access the quantum field and multidimensional realities from the 0 point, but you don't get there before you can get to that point. So, you know, just, and it's not about not getting angry or not any of these things. You actually get to transcend anger, go into the anger, for example. Just, it has to purge. Don't fight it, but don't project it onto other people as much as you can, okay? Purge it by screaming in the woods, punch your pillow, maybe have a good rant with a friend who knows how to, you know, hold space, but don't, you know, blast them like with the energy. That's not nice, but you can do it in a different way. And even if you get it wrong, you know, just come back, apologize, do again. I mean, you know, whatever you judge, you need to get past the judgment. And even if it's just, you know, not judging the judgment, just come into non-resistance as often as you can and keep coming back to it. Now, I'm going to carry on because otherwise this video is going to go on forever. And I'm going to make more videos if this is of any help to people, with more navigational tips. And as you know, I talk, more pieces come in, and I hope and I do believe to help. Also, there's a lot of frequency and energy that's being transmitted. So that should be, you know, hopefully supportive to your journey. Oh, I also saw us and myself filled with various crystals, so gems and diamonds, and then that happening throughout the planetary architecture. I've been seeing that more and more through these crystalline activations, like really beautiful different colors coming online. The solar plexus getting big upgrades yesterday as well. I really felt also in connection to the mind controlling being taken out, a pain just above the solar plexus, like as if something was taken out there, just at the bottom of the ribcage. So the deep cellular and subatomic clearing of trauma, anger, resentments, especially focus also on the negativities, past and present, to come to forgiveness fully. So all these timelines that they've invaded us and catastrophes and massacres, really clearing that anger and resentment. So again, so we can uncover the true history that's held within ourselves, okay, and within the crystal network. Because it's all hidden beyond these trauma imprints that make us unconsciously keep repeating the same realities over and over again. It's the same with the mind control of the TV. They just keep showing us all this horror. So we keep recreating more horror because most people are unconscious. They can't decode. You know, we can watch movies and we pick out the codes, but the mind control passes us. So highlights: mass exodus of souls and stuck soul fragments, negativities, possessions, parasites, toxins, fallen angelics, AI components, all of that stuff. I mean, again, list is long. I'm going to say that now. So what I could see with the possessions is what I can see happening, because it's also connected to walk-ins, okay? All the galactics coming in and angelic. These are our aspects they're walking in now. So this is also the same as a more DNA activating, okay? It's all kind of the same thing, all interconnected. So these possessions, I was shown it would be prolific people will, like, basically, I could literally see angelic helpers coming in and taking these bad boys out and carrying them off. And then what I see is that specialized souls are coming in to take over, to walk into these bodysuits and finish the job in order to bring justice about. Now, it won't be all of them, but a lot of them, and they will bring justice about. So they come in, they literally pop into these bodies in order for them to do something with that person, that personality, in order to change now the realities and timelines, as in, you know, correcting their evil deeds. So that should be interesting. I believe what I could see over the next 2 weeks. Now, the thing is, I don't like talking even 2 weeks or all of these kind of timelines, because ultimately you have to understand the event of the event of all events, of total purification, which I see coming in through not a solar flash as in the sun necessarily, but through, it's more like a spiritual flash. And I do believe it's at least a possibility, that time. I do very much believe that this is going to come about. And it basically purifies the consciousness and the lower net, because it's literally the frequency net that's keeping the hologram in place. But it's also, it needs to be timed, because it all is interconnected. Like, it's a divine, very multi-layered orchestration that I don't know all the details of course, but I'm just getting kind of a big picture, okay, that I'm sharing with you guys. So it has to be the right timing, but I really feel these next few days carry so much potential, because so much is in place. I can see the dragons today, which represent for me the 12 tribes and the 12 DNA strands and the 12 master races and the 12 master race are taken back over the Stargate. So they're there in position, and the core is ready. There's still some clearing obviously going on, but at any moment you can reach that because we are getting to a place where there's just this top over frequency of the collective consciousness, but then enough is cleared, and so much is in line now and aligned and open, the stargates and portals, that this can happen now. But I don't know when. Nobody knows. In no time. And it is already always happening. It really is. That's, once you get that, you drop into timelessness. There's just, you just keep flowing from one now moment to the next. You'll be shown what you need to know when you need to know it. So, and all of these things, obviously, you know, all these layers that need to happen in order for this to alter. It's like a time lock where everything locks in until the last lock just opens sesame. Now, mass exodus, canceling all contracts with the NIA and affiliates from the past, declared nil and void. Now, we had several of these things. I mean, this, again, these are things layers by layers, just as we work on our own healing and Lightbody, you know, many layers to it. But this is it now, okay? This is it. There was a total division of that mishmash between reptilian races and the human race. Okay, it doesn't mean that, I mean, there's more to it, but there is just this divide of timelines. Canceling all contracts, epic astral clearing, all interconnected, of the negative entities, takeover of trained souls. Yeah, I already said that. So that all enabled the massive walking in of galactics and angelics, which is basically the activation of our angelic and ET DNA. They are us. So when anybody's waiting for any kind of landings or all that kind of stuff, activate your DNA, people, because that's really what it is about. And your own light ship, your own light body, Makaba. And I mean, obviously, you know, I mean, I try and help bring this about. There are many ways of doing this. Give a lot of this over to your higher self. I don't know all the ins and outs and details, but I am being shown I need to surrender to my higher self, or hold the field, or hold the frequency. There's a lot that I know and that I do, but a lot of this is also being done by Source, our team's higher selves. They are bringing in the activations. They know exactly what to do. They do. We know. You need to trust your higher self. You need to surrender to your higher self and Source. I cannot say that anymore. Instead of some person that says they know it all. Okay. Like, just tune in to what the person feels like. Okay. Like, ultimately, it's all part of the learning. But just be conscious of you know, who you're entrusting your body with, and keep your field sovereign. It's not about the whole protection thing and that we're then attracting something to us. Okay, this shit exists. Sorry. So you need to learn of how to maintain a clear energy field, and then in the end, when you've cleared it all out and healed it all, then you have basically spiritual immunity and carry the garment of God, or the shield of God. Like, you get really high protection, but you first of all need to learn how to keep your field clear and how to heal it. Now, what I also saw after was the flooding of underground bunkers with plasma and re-encryption of the reality matrix, because that's really like, that's what I see it also happening. Like, when you think of, like, it might play out in a reality that some forces are going into the bunkers and clearing them out, but in the end, it's really a re-encryption of reality, because in the higher reality, this doesn't exist anymore. Like, it has existed in that other timeline continuum, but it's a false timeline. It's basically all false. And it's more false than true when we talk about the matrix. Okay, it's basically inserted memories. And that's why everything looks so off sometimes and fake, because it's not real. And really, it's less real than just, you know, us imagining back through our consciousness and projecting that. Okay, yes, it's all a hologram, but this is an hologram that was opposed, that is not just, I mean, it is created from us, but it's also being imposed onto the human consciousness. Okay. So as basically the plasma does the re-encryption of matter, so it also works with the elementals, which is also part of the activations, because matter, fire, earth, crystal, water, air, and then ether is what also makes up our physical body, makes up the planetary body, and obviously that's a lot what's been messed with all the toxins and stuff they give us. And this has been cleared, and also on an energetic level, that's what the plasmas do a lot, okay, interdimensional plasmas. And they are doing the re-encryption. This is a lot what, when I talk about aurora forces, basically Andromeda galaxy, where they're from, and they are helping with the re-encryption of basically the physical matter of the elementals, so of our bodies, and of literally changing the physical matter. But again, it's like you have like a filter smoke screen right now in front of you over what is really behind it. So you need to keep tuning into the unseen. And that's a very big point. So if you understand that 97% of the DNA, the junk DNA, you know, is unactivated, and most of reality we can't see because of also messing with light, and also the way, you know, we pick up in a light spectrum, most of it we can't see. And as we know, most of reality we can't see. So we know 3D. So there are many more dimensions beyond that. And we just can't see them. So we need to keep seeing beyond the obvious. That's what we came here for. Never mind if they don't understand and don't believe. Do we believe? That's again, it's about us, not about them. They're showing us, because it's part of us that has still trouble believing what we really see and what's really real. Because what you're looking at is the fakest thing of all the dimensional realities you can think of. And it's a fake of a fake, sort of thing. No, not a fake, but it's a fake. So we are here to oppose and override through the new consciousness, from the inside out, through our DNA activation, because this is really, the DNA is our film strip to our realities. So as this activates, then the new realities come online. And I really feel it's going to be very quick now, very, very quick. And again, the only time anything ever really changes is in the blink of an eye. Might have taken forever until now. One point, changes like that. Releasing any remaining fears, spells, black magic that were put on us around our heart, especially fears and false programming around loving and being loved, healing past heartbreak, and gaining higher perspective because again, the way we see things is a bit skewed, you know, like let's say somebody breaks up with us, now our heart is broken. Oh, why doesn't he love me? It's nothing to do with us. It's that person. But if we take it personally and think it's us, even maybe the people even said, maybe the person even said, you stay, I don't like you. But if we are sovereign and healed, that would still not hurt us. It would just be, okay, the person wants to have another experience. If they don't want to be with me, that's fine. You know, you would not fine, you would still be having feelings, not as you're totally untouched, but you would not have it break your heart. Let's put it that way. Okay, the same with people dying and so forth. It's our perception of reality that creates a lot of this distorted emotional body, like a miscommunication between the mind and the heart. Now, I'm going to wrap this up. So basically, healing past heartbreak and gaining a higher perspective of why things happen the way they were. That brings really healing, a change in perspective. Not because some people, you know, even after 10, 20 years, they don't get over someone or, you know, someone dying and so forth. All is interconnected with the crystalline network and crystalline core. It's in full force. The new grid system is really charging up, as I said, with these rainbow ray frequencies. And we'll keep accreting more frequency. And I really believe it's until this full switch over is possible. Okay. And that is connected with frequency accretion, which is connected with DNA assembly, which is connected with us, you know, anchoring more light. And that's only possible if we purify and clear that which is preventing that to come online. So we need to clear out the distortions. Okay, that's why a lot of my work, it's like, it's clearing and it's also obviously upgrading, but a lot of it, you know, needs to be purified because obviously we've been busy with that a lot. A huge focus also on white flame activations, or basically the threefold flame, which is also the tri-wave. These is also connected to the pre-matter field. So before matter, you have light and sound fields, and the first three emanations is the threefold flame. And that together, as that activates, also with our heart center, was also a huge part of the activations on both the sessions, but especially the first session, a lot around the heart activations. Basically threefold flame, then turning into the white flame, which is also the ascension flame, which is the 12D flame, but it's also downstepping now 144 dimensional frequency bands, because there's all these new light and sound rays coming in of the true creation, because they weren't able to come in before, as the field, you know, the net weakens and spacey almost all gone, and we can hold more. This is not able to come in and through, which also means new realities, because sound and light is what creates matter. So these white flame activations would then go out into the whole field, which basically just purifying everything. So the white flame is something I work with a lot. It's beautiful to work with and just purify, blast the field. Also connected, as I said, to the tri-wave current, also for me the Holy Grail, which is now returned and fully activated. Some people had, like me as well, some visuals symbolically represented from like a golden cup, although that's not what it is. It's a representation. Because for me, it's really connected to the Christ lineages that are here to purify the DNA records, which also spoke about also the blue feather and dragon races. which are also helping us with that. And basically helping with the multidimensional ET bloodline purifications. Now, that was it. There was definitely more. I don't even want to know how long I spoke, over an hour, probably so far. It doesn't show me here. Now, I hope you enjoyed and you found this useful. If you haven't, as I said, taken part in the live activation, tune in anytime, in no time, and really is available. Just open up to receive. It's available for everyone. I'll be doing them more often, so keep your eyes open. If the video has helped you, comment, like, share if you like. Let me know. Also, maybe something you would like me to cover in the future, any questions or topics. And I have a few more pages here actually that I might share another time with some navigational tips. For now, I would say just, be present. Try to transcend any remaining fears. This is not about having no fear, and it's not about not adhering to danger. Fear and danger are different. Knowing physical danger or some intuition coming in is very different to programmed fear. Know the difference, okay? Just go deeper into the feeling. But whenever we transcend a major fear, it's really a quantum jump. And I really know a lot about that because, transcending all these fears around survival right now is what we have to do as the forerunners and the spiritual leadership of humanity, because we hold the keys and codes for ascension. It's about what we are doing. So transcend those fears. Don't worry about hoarding all your money or if you're going to lose it. That's just you clinging on to 3D illusions. Okay? Like, I don't see money being a big, that's not in our future. It's more about energy management, which it all comes back to. But either case, all these survival fears that have been majorly triggered, we need to do that as well. So that's illness, that's survival, so job, house, home, paying the bills, okay? All of that stuff has to be transcended. So if you've been majorly squeezed in that regard right now, know that you will be carried, know that you will be supported if you trust that, your higher self, and keep listening to your own guidance. And it's like someone told me they were asked, to get the, what, in order to basically keep on working, and then just said no. And I told himself they're going to have a job within a week's time, and they got 2 or 3 offers within that week, and now they're working happily from home. So it's a question of perception, though, of what you believe possible, and that then enables you to tune into those timelines that are available to you. And there's a lot available, a lot more now. And these are like a lot of abundance portal. Also, I spoke about the other day, huge coming in. I've been feeling shifts. I mean, it really comes back to our ability, a level of ability to love ourselves, our worth, like validate yourself for all the troubles you've had, because it's been because of what you're here to do. You've been messed with. And I know I've been messed with a lot, and I've been tested a lot. But it's just part of the initiations. And it's how it says, many are called, but only few are chosen, because you are ultimately choosing yourself every time. Every time a test or initiation comes, which is ultimately organized by your higher self, you choose are you going to do it or not. For me, it's never much of a choice, but sometimes we still struggle, the human part. But, it's us choosing it. And you can also choose not do the right thing. That's the free will part. But then we also need to see, are they still driven or run by false programming? Because otherwise, there probably wouldn't be an issue, because then you're reconnected to source and your true self and your higher self. Is, what's very important right now, be as authentic, as honest, as much of you as you can be, because there's only one of you for a reason. And that's really also how you embody the highest level of frequency, your unique individual frequency, not trying to be anyone else, fitting in, or, thinking you have to be a certain way, but just being your unique self as much as you can be. And that's constantly expanding. And that's the beauty of it. You know, nothing is ever just set. Everything constantly expands and contracts. And that's one more thing. If you think 5D, you know, and I believe this is way bigger than 5D, this planet, even this universe. But anyway, 5D, you know, people believe that 5D, then everything is hunky-dory. No, because these distortions is really, it's within the consciousness. So we need to clear the consciousness. And these also exist at higher dimensional levels, really up until the 11th dimension. And you know, that's how I'm seeing and perceiving it. So we are correcting all of these different dimensional layers. Okay, and there will always be certain elements of expansion, contraction. It's not just thinking of a paradise forever, ever. We will always need to be working on this. There will always be expansion. We will always need to watch our thoughts. We will always need to keep a sovereign energy field. We can never let this slip. We need to become super conscious. This is not just, yeah, we get there and then everything is forever great. No, we need to keep being or remembering now fully to be the conscious co-creators that we came here to be. This is what this is all about for me. That we understand our accountability, responsibility, the more power we carry, but only if we take that on for our co-creations. And then we are given more to co-create more responsibly, not out of negative ego will, but in alignment with the law of one, on behalf of everyone, as the one. Because that's what we're here for, to become God consciousness embodied. But also, you know, having your own flair of that God consciousness, which is unique. And that's what we get to play with. Let your life be your art. And let's have fun with it. Because in the end, I do believe, you know, that that's the Holy Trinity. In the end, the masculine and feminine, in balance and fully integrated, and the divine child, healing our inner child. And then it comes out to play again because it is safe. And mommy and daddy are there in the background, keeping it safe and loved. And it's the joy that then, you know, and the bliss, obviously, that we all want. But it only can now be triggered. And that, again, is also part of the activations, the Edenic codes, paradise codes, bliss codes, as I call them, that bring heaven on earth, you know, unlock it from inside of us, because it really unlocks through us being in bliss and being happy. It doesn't matter what is going to happen or not happen. And that was one more thing I'm going to share quickly. What I was shown yesterday as a visual for where we're going to get into now, especially over the next few weeks or wherever, really. We tell now, but let's see. Anyway, was, you know, the roller coaster where before it goes up and then it was down and it was up and it was down. It's kind of what it was like until now. But I see now what's coming is like, we go kind of very quick right and left and up and down, where it's like really kind of shaking, you don't know which direction it's next, and it's very quick and a bit more disorienting. So just, you know, I don't know what's coming. I was a little bit like, but just, you know, embrace the uncertainty in childlike wonder. That's the key here. Keep flowing in no time. Don't project, like, stay in the present. Just be here now. Deal with what's in front of you. If we would know what's coming, we would be totally distracted and mess it up. That's why we don't know, okay? So be happy with not knowing and just imagine the best, because we came here to co-create it with every word, every thought, every feeling, every behavior, action, belief, feeling. I think I said belief twice, but the beliefs are very important, because beliefs are programs. This is what realities are based upon. And some of them you might not even be aware of. So keep super self-aware, keep pulling everything within, re-reverse everything. That's what we came here for, okay? When things are upside down, think of the opposite, think of the solution, keep shifting your consciousness, keep being open-minded, keep being the change. Whatever you see wrong in the world, then be the change and bring more of that in, okay? That's the best way. The outside is just showing us what still needs to be more added or changed or shifted and integrated. And yeah, you just have to feel it all, because the emotional mental body need to heal, and it's about feeling it all, become more and more sensitive, but you also become stronger and stronger. It's really beautiful. It's the same as the more we love ourselves, the more natural boundaries you also have, and stuff just doesn't even, you know, try to get you anymore. Although we've been tested, obviously, lately a lot. And these tests also need to see, they help us to strengthen our mastery. You know, these tests, they're all like, okay, let's see. Does she have it now? And ultimately, we're all testing ourselves, like our higher selves. Really, I do believe that. It's all a co-creation. That's the thing. If you understand this is all a co-creation, and ultimately no one is doing anything. Nobody is doing anything to you. Yes, on a lower dimension level, this plays out as that. And that we do need to address that. That's part of the multidimensionality. It doesn't mean that we just dismiss it. No, but the solution is beyond where the level exists upon. Okay, like you can't solve the war with a war. You have to go beyond it. It's all about the consciousness. It's literally all, keep pulling everything within. Any conflict, resolve it from within. Purify your consciousness. Make that your priority, because that's how you dissolve and resolve all of that from the inside out. And obviously all the other people are helping you with that as well. Otherwise it would be quite boring. So that's it. So a special thank you to those that took part, still take part. You are all part, whether you take part or not, in the activations, especially for those that donated, because quite frankly, you make it possible for me to do this. Otherwise, like some other people, you know, give up. I understand, because, you know, most of us cannot fully support themselves, just like myself with our work. But that's also why we're doing this, to shift this for everyone, because if we weren't uncomfortable, would we even want to create a change? So think on that one. So thank you, everyone, for making this holy shift happen. I hope this was helpful to you. You enjoyed it, listening all this time. Thank you for your time. Loads of love, and keep your hopes high for humanity, and keep seeing us all rising and awakening, and, you know, remembering again, because that's what's happening now. Okay, we're claiming it all back. Notice it's already happened, but we're also still making it happen in every now moment. So keep listening to your inner guidance, keep listening to your higher self, because it knows. Okay, keep navigating. Best of luck. Loads of love and blessings. Bye bye.